Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So today I will be sharing with you my favorites as well as my essentials, if you will, for the first month of a baby's life. The first item that I thought was an essential and absolute favorite of mine was those long-footed PJs. This one is not in a newborn size, the size that he's currently wearing, but I thought that these were just perfect for newborns. They cover them like from neck to their feet. So you don't have to wear socks, you don't have to worry about them being cold or anything like that. I had some that were in fleece and some that were in cotton. Both of these were really amazing especially since my son was born in the beginning of winter. I thought that these were just perfect to keep him warm during the day and during the night, and it made diaper changes so much easier. So that was just a perfect item for him to wear during that first month. I think that there are only 2 days that we actually like dressed him up in full clothes. I think like for Christmas and New Year's Eve, but for the rest of the time he was wearing like strictly those, and I really like them. They are, I think, a must-have if you have a winter baby. It keeps them warm and it's so much easier to deal with, and I think that they're super comfortable for babies, so I really like these. It took a little while for me to figure out how to dress my child at night. I would put him in one of these in one of these fitted PJs, and then I had issues figuring out like what blankets to use. So I ended up like using 2 types of swaddle blankets. We never used like the swaddle me, like the swaddles and stuff like that. Like the swaddle blankets were what we used. During the first week of my baby's life, he was at the hospital, and since he had an IV on, I couldn't like put him into PJs. So what I would do is only wrap him into the hospital flannel blankets and the room was kept a little bit warmer, so it was perfectly working. But when we got home, the room was kept a little bit colder to make sure that he didn't have sudden death syndrome or anything like that. So we had issues finding out like what to actually wrap him in to sleep. What I ended up using and really liking were those 2 swaddles. So the first one, so what I would do is I would first wrap him into one of those smaller swaddles. These ones are in fleece. These ones are in flannel, and they are from Garanimals. They are a little bit small. It's hard to tell on camera, but they're slightly smaller. So I would first wrap him into one of these to make sure that he had a decent amount of warmth around him, and then I would swaddle him into one of these Eden Nice swaddle blankets. These are a lot bigger, so they were easier to wrap him around. So that was like my perfect mix for sleep. It was tight enough so he couldn't have anything, so that he wouldn't get any blankets on his face, so he wouldn't suffocate with any of them, but it kept him warm enough to be comfortable. And for that first month, he needed the extra little bit of warmth, especially since in the hospital he was kept so warm. When he got into his room, he was used to, we got home, he was used to a little bit of warmth. So I think that that was just perfect for his comfort. I also really like the Eden Nice blanket around the house. We would often like keep him into one of these around the house when he was a little bit colder, and we really like those. The ones that I use from Eden Nice are just the regular ones. I think that the bamboo ones that I also have are a lot softer, but I think they're better for warmer weather, and I think that the regular ones are better for colder weather. So I think I will get a lot more use out of the bamboo ones during the summertime, but I think that those were just perfect for winter. Another item that I love at nighttime was our baby monitor. This one is from Motorola, and it is exclusive to Best Buy. I'm gonna link the exact one that we have down below, but basically I think that any baby monitor that you can actually see him on is an essential if your baby is not sleeping in your room for that first month. From the moment that we got out of the hospital, he slept in his room. It was easier for all of us, and with the cat and everything, having a separate room was better. We didn't know how the cat was going to react to the baby, so having a separate room was a little bit better for us. So I liked being able to see him on the monitor. For that first month, for the first few weeks that we were home, we also used the sound effect on that, so that we could hear him all the time. We gradually lowered the sound and at some point, and now we don't even use the sound anymore, we only use the video camera. But because we can hear him, he's like 2 rooms away from ours, so we really hear him anytime he wakes up. But for that first 2 weeks, I would say, like, we kept the sound on high so that we could hear him. We were really paranoid about not hearing him. Now we know that we hear him anytime anytime he wakes up, or even when he's just dreaming, we can hear him. So we don't use the sound anymore, but we use the camera, and we really like it. I would say to get one with camera and that has decent nighttime vision. That's when you're going to need it the most. And we also use him. We also use it during the daytime. If we put him down to do his nap, but then I put the sound on as well as the camera so I can see and hear him, and I really like it. I know that this one has a ton of nice features, but basically seeing and hearing him was the only thing that I needed. And as I mentioned, for that first month, it's just perfect to have. Another item that I thought was very neat to have during that first month was a burp cloth. We have a ton of these around the house because we have a really spit-uppy baby. I have some in, like, anywhere that we kind of are with the baby from time to time, there are burp cloths around. The ones I use are actual diaper inserts. They're from Gerber, and they are the trifold ones. I'm gonna link everything that I mentioned down below if you want to check it out. But basically, these are super absorbent, so when your baby like spits up and stuff like that, you can just like use these to wipe him clean and wipe your clothes clean and stuff like that. So I really like those, and they're also perfect to burp your child. Another item that I think is an essential and was a favorite of mine during that first month are those little baby nail files. You don't necessarily need baby nail files, but you need a type of file that is really gentle and that doesn't have a lot of grit. Because in that, baby's nails are really thin, but they're super scratchy, and they tend to hurt the baby and yourself, especially if you are breastfeeding. So to cut his nails, that's what I would use. So I would just file them down and make sure that they weren't like that they didn't have any like sharp edges and stuff like that. So it was safer for the baby and for my own skin. And for that first month, like, files are better than actual nail clippers because their nails are super thin, and also like the nails and the skin underneath is kind of glued together, so there are risk of hurting your child when you're using nail clippers. And also, we were really worried about using nail clippers. It stressed us out a lot, so nail files were a lot safer. Like, we felt more comfortable with the nail files, so that's what we use. And although it's a little bit longer to file nails and to clip them, I think it's a lot safer, so I really would recommend those. Then another item that we have really used during that first month, that we don't use as much anymore, that I would recommend for the first month, are these like pee pads that you see at the hospital, or that sometimes people use like for their dogs and stuff like that. We would use those on the changing table. I know that it's not as eco-friendly as the reusable ones, but for the first month, you are going to deal with a lot of like poop explosion and experimenting with diaper changes. Like, in the first month, we sometimes had times when we would put Jaden on the table, on the changing table, and that he would actually do a blowout while we were changing his diaper. So having one of these was a little bit easier. We only changed it when it got dirty, obviously, but having one of those made sure like it was easier for us for that first month of adjustment. To be able to throw it out was a little bit easier, so that's what we use, and I would recommend it. Then another item that I would recommend is a nice comfortable chair to nurse him. I'm going to insert a clip of the one that I have. Here is my rocking chair. It's a white leather rocking chair, and I have like a pillow and a nice blanket over top of it. But this one has the feature to recliner right here, which is also really nice. I really like mine, but I don't think that mine is an absolute necessity, but some type of nursing chair. I think that the fact that mine is also the two features that I like about mine are the fact that it actually reclines, so I can be a little bit more comfortable sometimes at nighttime. If I'm a little bit tired, I can just kick back and be a little bit more comfy to nurse. And I also like the fact that it is a rocking chair, so I can rock him to sleep if I need to. I really like that chair, but I think that a nice comfortable chair is a must-have, because you're going to spend a lot of time nursing and rocking your child and putting your child to sleep. So I think that it is really a good investment piece to have. Like it's easier to nurse when you're comfortable in the area where you're nursing. So I think that this is definitely a must-have. Another must-have for me is a nice nightlight in your child's room. I am using a Himalayan salt lamp. I will show a clip of my lamp. Here is my Himalayan salt lamp. This is what it looks like when it's open. The light actually in person looks like the light at the top. Like the bottom looks super bright in camera, but in person it's a really soft light, and I kind of hide it behind that box so it doesn't so the baby doesn't see it as much when he's sleeping in his crib. I really like it because it is a really soft light. And the first month of my child's life, I would keep the light on at night while he was sleeping. So this way, when he would cry or anything like that and I had to get into the room, I saw a little bit better. It was a little bit more comforting, and I felt safer that way for that first month. And I know that normally like babies are like to be kept in the dark. Since my son was in the hospital for that first week of his life, he was used to bright lights when we got home, so I didn't mind having a little bit of light on while he was sleeping. And the Himalayan salt lamps are really soothing, and they're not too bright, so it was easier to nurse and to change diapers at night. And I like that I didn't have to to open the light when I was coming into his room. I didn't want to wake him up or anything like that more than he was when I got into his room, so I really like that. But I think that any type of night lamp or night light that is really that is not bright and that is a little bit warmer is a good idea to have in the room. You might want to keep it on at night, or just to open it when you're getting into the room, but I think it's really a must-have in a baby's room. Last physical item that I want to talk about is a pack and play. It's an absolute must-have if you have a 2-story house. I think it's a good idea to have an area where you can put your child in while you want to do, if you want to go into the bathroom when you're at the first floor or something like that. And I thought that the pack and play was a little bit safer because it was higher up the ground, so with the pets and with the cat and everything, it was a little bit safer for us. Also, our pack and play has a few nice features that I liked. A part that's a little bit higher up, so you could put him in and you didn't have to bend all the way into the bottom of the pack and play. Also, ours has a mobile that her son really enjoys, so sometimes we can put him in there for 15-20 minutes while we're doing stuff around the house, and he's really comfortable in there, and it's in a central place in the house, so he hears us and stuff like that, so he's comfortable in there. And also ours has a nice changing table insert, so for that first month, not having to go up the stairs with the baby to change him was a good idea. It was really a lifesaver, and I don't like putting him on the couch or on the floor to change him, because I think it's a little bit harder on my back. So I think that insert makes sure that I'm in a nice position and stuff like that. So that was really nice for that first month. Ours also has a lot of storage, which we really enjoy, but I think a changing table insert in a pack and play is a good idea for that first month if you have a 2-story house. If your house is all on the same floor, I don't think you need one, but if it's a 2-story house, I think it's a really better idea. This is what the pack and play looks like. There is a mobile right there, and it actually lights up and spins, which is really nice. And then there's the changing table insert right here, with one of the little PB pads that I mentioned. And then that's the storage insert, so it's really has a lot of storage right there. And there's a hamper insert right here, and we hook a bag onto it so that this way we can actually put dirty diapers and stuff like that in there to have easy access. The final item, physical item that I want to mention that I am not going to show you because any brand will do, is laundry detergent. I know it sounds stupid, but having a newborn means a lot of laundry to do. So you definitely need a lot of the laundry detergent. The one that we are using is the Tide Free and Clear and Free or something like that, like the white bottle. We didn't want to buy a specific one for babies. What we're using is just the unscented one, and it's just perfect. Like, he doesn't have any rashes or anything from it, so that's what I would recommend. But like, really stock up on laundry detergent. You're gonna need a lot more than you were using with a child around. The last item is a little bit obvious, but you're going to need support from family or friends. In that first adjustment, in the first few weeks, you are going to need to adjust your lifestyle and everything like that, and you are recovering. So having like your husband, boyfriend around a little bit, or having your parents around, or sisters, or family, or just friends, or anyone around that can help you a little bit is really a lifesaver. It supports mentally and physically. Sometimes you need someone to like take care of the child for a few hours while you're sleeping, or to like, especially in the beginning, it's hard to take a shower with a newborn around. So having someone to like to take care of them for a few minutes while you're taking your shower or while you're eating or something like that is really like a must-have. It's a little luxury, but like, you can do without people around you, but it's a lot easier. And I think that for me, it was really a must-have to have like my parents come around and my boyfriend being around for me in the first weeks was really important. So this really sums it up for me for the items that were either favorites or must-haves for that first month of a baby's life. If you have any questions or comments or anything like that, please leave them down below. I will be doing also like a 2-month video, like a 2-month update with the items that I thought were essentials for the second month of my baby's life, but these were really the essentials for the first month. So this is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. Have a great day. Bye bye.